So let's talk about practice, all right? Guitar practice in particular. Now, a big challenge that a lot of us guitarists face is that we all want to be great at the guitar, but no one wants to pick up the guitar for like 5, 6 hours, 2, 3 hours a day and actually practice, which is really what it takes to become great. And this is a common challenge, all right? Now, obviously, some people have more motivation than others and can stick with things for a lot longer than other people can. But there are some hacks that you can use to actually enable you to really be able to stick with the guitar and actually do stuff well. So I will go into probably one of the biggest hacks that you're going to be able to use where practice is going to become a lot more fun. You're going to enjoy the guitar. You're going to be able to practice for literally hours every day and be able to keep up that kind of workflow. And this is one of the things for myself that also made me better able to practice the guitar for long periods of time, better able to actually invest the time that it takes to become really great at the guitar. Because when I look at my own guitar playing right now, and I look at how I played the guitar 4 or 5 years ago, man, I wasn't that good, right? I was kind of like basic. But I'm glad I took the decision to learn. I'm glad I made use of hacks like the one I'm sharing in this video. And I'm super glad because that really made me so much better. So, what I can tell you that's really gonna be a game changer for you is what you need to do is you basically need to reconfigure your entire life, your your dopamine levels and your dopamine system inside your brain. Basically, you need to reconfigure the entire thing because when you reconfigure your dopamine system, um, you're gonna change your outlook. You're gonna change your mental wiring. So let's talk a little bit about dopamine. Dopamine is like a pleasure. It's like a pleasure responsive pleasure stimulant chemical that works inside your brain. And basically, what it does is it makes you enjoy things. And it's stimulated by things that you enjoy. So, for example, for a lot of us, watching the TV, sitting down to watch the TV, is gonna trigger dopamine inside our brains because TV is literally designed in that way. Or going into a casino and gambling on something where you could win a few $1,000s, that's gonna trigger dopamine. Or taking a shot of whiskey, that's gonna trigger dopamine because it does that. Alcohol stimulates the dopamine receptacles in the brain, in the body. So there's things that stimulate pleasure. The problem is those things basically are most of the time they are not work. They are not guitar practice. They are not things where you are putting in conscious hard work and conscious effort to be able to accomplish something. They are typically things that are really easy, kind of like cheap pleasures like smoking a cigarette, chewing gum, um, you know, uh, and things like that, being out at the barbecue, drinking a beer, things like that tend to trigger dopamine. But playing the guitar, um, practice, especially taking lessons, typically that doesn't trigger dopamine. So basically what you need to do is uh, you need to reduce the amount of dopamine that you are habitually exposed to on a daily basis in your daily routine. Because what happens is when you fill your day up with high dopamine activities like drinking beer, what happens is now when you go to do something as simple as practicing the guitar, it's gonna seem a lot harder because the rest of your day is filled. In this example, it's the example of a guy who is spending all his day just drinking beer. The rest of the time he's just drinking beer, so his dopamine levels baseline are like 100 out of 100. And when he goes to play the guitar and practice, it's a much harder thing because it's basically at a dopamine level of, say, it's naturally like a 10 practicing the guitar and learning, taking new lessons. So when you go from 100 is what your brain and your body is used to, and you now start to go down to like 10. uh, it seems a lot harder what you're doing because you're no longer working with the pleasure chemical inside your brain. It's gone from 100 down to 10. So it feels like you're doing something really hard. It feels like life got suddenly really tough and really bad because you basically went from a very high dopamine activity, drinking beer, to a really low dopamine activity, which is practicing the guitar. So it's gonna be excruciatingly painful for you to practice the guitar. So what you need to do instead is, if you could fill your day up with you hitting the gym, being in the gym for an hour every day. You know, that's hard. You're lifting metal. You're doing that. And then you go for like a 2 hour marathon run after that. Now you're working basically at a dopamine level of like 5. And if you fill your day up with those kinds of activities, and you go now to practice the guitar after you do that stuff, which is like a baseline level, say 10. Now you're going from dopamine level 5 to 10. So now your mind is actually gonna enjoy practicing the guitar and taking the guitar lessons, because it feels like, dude, oh, that other stuff we were doing was hard compared to this. This is easy. This is fun. And when you do this hack and you use this trick, you're literally going to be able now to practice the guitar for 2-3 hours a day. And it's what you are gonna need as well if you wanna practice the guitar for some insane amount of hours, like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, like how guys like Michelangelo Beatty do it, who practice like 6, 7, 8 hours a day, which is just insane, but it's really neat. And if you use this trick, this dopamine hack could literally help you to do that. Now, if you need more guitar trips, more habits and guitar level ups to get you leveling up in your guitar playing, and get you out there touring as a guitarist, help you get tour ready, help you get good enough where you can be a professional musician, then obviously check out my tips in the video description. Subscribe to the channel. Catch you next time.